If you have a subscription to a music licensing platform like Epidemic Sound, you are able to download music from their website every single month and put it into your content, which you can then put on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, and on the other social platforms because it's covered by their terms and service and their licensure agreement. So when we went this week to TikTok and tried to put up one of our long form pieces of content from our YouTube channel onto TikTok, we got this message. It says, music can't be used. The music included in your video is longer than the permitted duration. Shorten or replace the music to avoid your video being muted. They have specific licensure agreements within TikTok and YouTube, Instagram that they have to adhere to when it comes to popular and trending music. Now, most of these platforms have a commercial use section where you are allowed to use royalty-free music within the context of your videos without having to pay for it. But they're very, very protective of the music that they were able to put out there, because if you use something like a Taylor Swift song without having licensed it for many, many, many thousands of dollars, they are going to have to remove that content. You're going to be in trouble for that. So while you have used something like Epidemic Sound to get your royalty-free music, TikTok is still limiting the duration. So while you have the licensure to do this, you can still put that video on TikTok, but they may mute it. Even if you have that licensure, they are not allowing certain durations of music. So I put up a 3 or 4 minute video and it had that music for the duration of it. They said I either need to shorten it, so only use smaller sections of it, or I have to replace that music to then be able to use it on TikTok. I have to be very clear about it, even though I have the licensure. Now, could I fight this? Probably. I could probably get into a long conversation that would take a very long time to get through all the channels, and maybe they would respond to me and maybe they wouldn't. Even though I work directly with TikTok, I still have trouble getting through some of these channels. I could debate that, and I would win. I would win with that unless it was against some terms of service inside of TikTok's platform. But for the most part, the best choice here is to change what you're doing. So if you intend on putting longer form content up on TikTok, export a video or a copy of your video that has the music for Instagram, no problem. Upload that video to YouTube, no problem. You're covered for all these things. And then have a video that either doesn't have the music at all or you've shortened those pieces of music. This is also something you consider when you are forming your longer form content. If you know you're going to frequently be putting these pieces of content on TikTok, be aware that they're not going to allow full songs or long sections of songs. And you're going to have to either chop it up and do the raising and the lowering of the volume and have some quiet time and some music time and all of those things. Or you're going to just have to upload a version without that music, or a version without the music that you then upload the commercial use library music to. You have to make sure that you are abiding by TikTok's rules and regulations. So even though you can put it up, even though you can fight it, there is a very strong likelihood that they will be muting and potentially demonetizing your content if you are putting it up, even though you have the licensure. So as of right now, this is a newer thing. This is not something we've seen very much of. We have not gotten any complaints about this yet here on the channel. So follow along as we continue to learn more about this. I'm going to be doing more investigating. I'm actually going to be working with some different companies and different entities involved with this to see if we can get some resolution on this or get some clarification on this as well. So I'll be bringing you breaking news as it is happening. But as of right now, even if you have the proper licensure, you are paying the subscriptions to Epidemic Sound and those other music licensing platforms, you may not be able to use certain lengths, longer lengths, or even full versions of songs despite having the license for it on TikTok. You're still good on Instagram, you're still good on YouTube, but this is a new thing over on TikTok that is limiting us in what we're doing and how we're doing it, and we're working toward more clarification and more ability to function the way that we could and the way that we need to on the social platform. Drop your questions down below. If this is impacting you, please tell me. I'm going to be passing this information along to my contacts with these different companies that are all involved with this conversation. And we're going to see what we can do to make this a little more accessible to all of us who are operating in a legal capacity to be using this music to create the content that they're specifically asking us to make for the social platforms so that we can move forward with this in a profitable and ethical and an effective way for all of us. We'll see in the upcoming episodes as we continue to help you navigate the world of TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, live streaming, and the tools and resources you need to make this your most profitable year ever with the least amount of stress, overwhelm, and time commitment on your content creation. We'll see you then.